record.
One, two,
three,
5,
4,
6,
7, 8, 9.
Josh, it's been a long time.
Perfect.
You lead us in.
Hello.
Welcome to Postscripted.
I couldn't really tell who you said, so I'm like,
Well, here we are.
Keep going.
This is Postscripted Evangelion.
Not cutting
Here we
any of
go.
this.
Let's go. We are still wildly good at intros. I don't even know what to say because we're going to attempt to start talking about Evangelion from Unit 20, Episode 20.
oh my god.
Evangelion Unit 20.
Ah.
From episode 20. We're going to try to get to episode 24 in this, but because we're really good planners and this is unscripted gaming, post-scripted, that might not be the best idea because these are some jam-packed episodes because
It's a lot to unpack here.
lot to unpack. So we're going to start here in episode 20 after the last live watch and then try to see how far we get in a reasonable amount of time.
I think if we spend 15 minutes per episode, it's totally possible.
Oh, so basically one full episode each.
Shut up. Let's get started. First of all, after our live watch of one of the most effed up episodes of Evangelion, episode 19, the episode that changes the world, the episode gives a brief recap. The episode goes full beast mode. It eats an angel alive. It regrows its arm by... We're not even getting into that. So it has a...
Yeah.
It was the AT field, obviously.
In case you forgot, let's say in the worst case you're watching this, as it was airing. Unless you forgot last week, Eva Unit 1 went crazy. It ate an angel. It regrew its arm by attaching the other angel's arm to it and just turning it into its arm. Shit got wacky.
Yeah, and the episode picks up from there where Misato says, all right, well, that was a thing. Let's get Shinji out of that plug. And Ritsuko says, you don't know what 400% sync ratio means, do you?
Yeah, about that.
Shinji is in the plug. He's
Honestly,
just LCL fluid.
Shinji really just living the millennial dream of being congealed into goo.
Yeah.
Like,
his being and his soul are in the LCL fluid.
Just because they they got the Unit 0. No, Unit 1.
Yeah.
Shit, sorry. Oh, owned. Oh, no.
Oh, no, I've been owned.
We're going to get some corrections about that.
Oh my god. Episode. So, Unit 1's band. They got him bandaged up, and they're trying to get Shinji out of the entry plug. But then they get eventually, and I like all the, again, some of my favorite stuff in Eva has been all the weird kind of low, the weird high tech computers and graphics and screens and stuff interlaced with all this weird spiritual biological stuff. I like seeing them kind of mix all that stuff together. And this episode they're oh wait, we got a camera inside the entry plug, let's take a look at it, and Shinji's just gone. Yep. His suit is still there, but he's just gone.
But if I remember correctly, in episode 19 he didn't have his suit. He ran.
No, they addressed that. So Mike made a mistake. What they do to try to get Shinji back is they throw the suit inside the plug so they can try to get Shinji's body to reform around it.
It's here. Whatever your body goo form has taken, fill the
suit.
It would be if Josh ever congealed into goo someday and we had to get him out. We would hey, look, here's a tank top and a glass of bourbon. And it would work.
Okay, that might work, actually.
He'd be oh, hey, thanks. Oh, no, I'm back. No.
I'm a solid again.
Because obviously, to live as a pile of goo merged with
I have to worry about income
something.
inequality again.
I wanna fast forward because
Well, real quick, can we talk just like again some of the strongest stuff in Evangelion, like the imagery in these first few minutes of the headless, armless Unit 2, Unit 1 all crazy-eyed and bandaged up with basically, it's armor gone, but like, these low-tech bandages all over its body.
Yeah.
The core that you see on all the angels now exposed on Ava, you're like, oh, the other guys have that too. There's a lot just like visually that they go over quickly as they're talking about this that just gives you a sense of just truly how messed up these creatures are and what is going on.
It gets worse. Sele in this scene, right after they realize Shinji is goo, which is what we're going to refer to him now, Goo Shinji. Sele says, so Unit 1 ate an angel, and he now has an S2 core, which means he can go berserk whenever he wants without breaking his armor. He's a god. That's a god. They were never meant to have S2 cores, and like you see all the leaders and Sele around that table just freaking out because they don't know what to make of this right now.
Yeah.
And you know
also,
what?
right, remember, Unit 1 is a she.
Yes!
I knew it.
They do say Unit 1 is a she several times.
We kind of learned.
Doctor says in episode 9, she just goes, she's awoken or waken, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, episode 19. It does use that she pronoun, and they use it here.
Who is Unit 1? Is it Beyonce?
Ha! While we're talking about the she,
But yeah, so I love, again, another thing I love is stark dramatic title cards.
Yeah.
And when this episode goes from like day 1, day 2, day 30, you're just like, oh no, he's like goo goo. He is, oh no. And I think some of the other stuff is like, I think they do a lot of great stuff with Misato and Ritsuko here, because you get a really great dynamic, because like Misato is kind of, she's like a good leader, but is very this is kind of the point where we see like how she's like almost like too invested in Shinji, like almost like she wants to care and protect for him almost to a fault. And Ritsuko is like, oh, this is a salvage operation.
Ritsuko
like,
is taking this as a loss.
And Misato's like, how dare you say that? And this isn't the episode where Misato hits her, right?
It is.
It totally is.
She's about ready to.
Yeah, they're like, she's like, I think that dynamic is like really interesting, and just like because how overprotective Misato is in a way that is like endearing, but is also, I think, I think I even said on a previous episode that I was very worried for how like Misato might get hurt because of how like attached she gets to people that she cares about. And I'm just like, this is bad.
You guys wanna talk about look? So Shinji's having like a super existential crisis because he's obviously, if he's been turned, Goo Shinji is Goo Shinji, and
meanwhile in the
Gooverse, Shinji is talking to himself. He's gone beyond human consciousness. He's having this weird reality trip, which is, considering that this is an anime that came out in 1995, is just still really worth watching today for like a psychological trip. And he's having some mental/sexual images of both Misato, Rei, and then Asuka, of course. And finally, he has several flashbacks of his mother talking to him. And Ritsuko mentions at the very beginning that this isn't the first time we've hit 400% sync ratio. And Misato says, well, when was the first time? And Ritsuko says, oh, Shinji remembers.
No, he doesn't? Question mark. But
We get to that later.
so I don't know a lot about this, but they're like, "Hey, you should merge and be one with me. Don't you want to be one with me?"
Yeah.
It feels really nice. And as it's playing that weird, like, "Oh, we're in the trippy place" music,
Yeah.
and we're on like that weird old style train and stuff, and
Whatever or whoever is attacking to Shinji's consciousness, is it him, is it someone or something else, is trying to get him to, like, just accept death and merge with whatever it is? Is it the Eva talking to him? Is it...
yeah, I am unsure about that. I am going to assume this has something to do with the Human Instrumentality Project,
That gets mentioned again briefly. It gets mentioned a lot more in the next
but
episode.
I don't really know what that means.
There's
'Cause I'm like,
there's a lot of possibility in this. Who is talking to Shinji scenario? Like, who is trying to convince him
Yeah.
to kind of let go of this last bit of connection he has to the physical world? Because I also think in this episode they talk about, they kind of mention again what he thinks the plug smells like in conjunction with them talking about the 400% synchronization being the second time this has happened. So, there's a lot of potential actors at play here trying to pull Shinji in, and it's really interesting to see him having this crisis of basically, do I stay or do I go?
Yeah. So getting to the end of the episode, they go ahead and they attempt one last effort, and all it is they try just a resync of the Eva to the plug suit. Doesn't work. The Eva rejects the plug suit. It rejects the actual plug. It pops open the LCL fluid. As far as Misato knows, Shinji's dead because he's just this goop on the floor in the lab. She has a nice cry, and she yells at the Eva to give him back, and out of nowhere, Shinji pops out of the core of the Eva. Yeah, it makes that noise. Just blop, blop.
just a real good wet meat flop, and
Yep.
it just like, oh god.
Just a
And-
human being pops out of the core of an Eva, and no one, like, brings much question to it. Like, they go home afterwards. They're like, well, Shinji's alive.
Like, no, this is fine. This is great. Yeah, it's a little behind schedule. It's
What's
fine.
so weird about this show sometimes is when, like,
I'm sorry, what?
is when I realize what I said. Okay. Is when, like, the show just does another shark jump, and they're like, yep, that's dinner. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
You know what's really good after a stressful day of people wet meat flopping out of an Eva core?
You're going there, aren't you?
Getting stuck real hard by Kaji.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanted to bring this up. We'll spend the last 1 minute on this, because they spent like 2 minutes of Kaji and Misato just going at it. Just going at it.
I had a piece about this. I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like the show, because at the end, after Shinji gets out, she goes to visit Misato or Kaji, and that's when they have sex, and then Kaji gives her the thing that is the secret info.
It's
right?
a pill. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like this show, is it trying to tell me that Misato is bad for having sex with Kaji? Because that's the vibe I got. And I'm like, is this supposed to be like, oh, what a tragic, oh, how bad of Misato to have sex with somebody? And I'm just like,
I didn't get that. I got the she is going through a lot emotionally and has allowed herself to go seek comfort in somebody that she really knows that she probably shouldn't given past events. Like I don't think there's any sort of like you shouldn't be doing this. It's in terms of like she's bad. It's just like
it's like
you know better, but you know what, girl, we're gonna give this one to you because you've been through a lot.
yeah, that's kind of what I hope, because it feels like sometimes they're like, oh, it's good when women are mothers in this show, and it's like
I'm not trying.
Know how where babies come
I'm not
from.
trying to
Like,
give this away, but
I mean,
Mike,
we're talking about.
your question is answered in episode 25. Okay, we'll get to that.
I also
eventually.
think I even think in this set of 4 episodes, like this serves an important purpose because of something that happens in 2 episodes. So I think that this scene is meant to make something else a little more emotionally impactful for her and the audience.
yes.
So let's move on to episode 21.
The birth of Nerve.
This is a really good
Nerve.
flashback episode.
Narv.
I
This is the
appreciate that this episode doesn't start right away with the title sequence. You know, you get a flashback to 2000 and Antarctica with some surveillance video.
that was sick.
That was so creepy. I
That was
forgot
so
that was
good.
there.
Because there's a lot they pack into that too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, the UN underground base 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, August 5th, 2000, and you know, all the recording, and all of a sudden, P.S. Second Impact.
They're talking about some high religious stuff. They're like, try to pierce it with the spear of Longinus or Longinus. Oh no, it's opening the door of Goth. Like, what? What is going on right now? And then you see it walk in front of the camera, and then it cuts the feed. Like, you can't open like that. You can't be doing that to me. Don't walk up in my house and just try to spill this knowledge on me like that. And then it gets to the opening. It's like, oh, no. Oh, okay. All right, we're moving on out. But yes, that's it.
try using the spear. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But yeah, there were also those guys like going on a weird anti-scientist rant that I was like, what is going? There's some just real good like flavor building there that I was a fan of. But yeah, this episode is a all of a sudden Fuyutsuki is being interrogated by Seile?
Yeah.
Or okay. Because now at this point, if I'm not mistaken, they're showing up as like the sound only.
Yeah, they come as the and it's gone from like 5 people to like 20.
Yeah. Because I was confused because I'm like, wait, because this is the same group of people as like the rainbow looking people that Gendo talks to sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is Seile the same thing as the Human Instrumentality Council?
I mean, yes, but you're
I
not
think-
using
I
those
think
words
they're-
correctly.
I think they're relatively
Ah!
like related.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to say yes
But,
and
like,
no.
the people he's being interrogated by are definitely like the rainbow colored people, right?
Yeah.
Some of them.
Okay.
So
Oh
they do a
god.
flashback to before Second Impact. You get to see a young Professor Futsuki. You get to see a young Gendo Akari. You get to see a young Yui Akari. Actually, no, it's not Gendo
You see-
Yukari. It's Gendo
No, it's not.
Rikambungi.
Yep, and you see Yui first.
You do see Yui first, yeah.
Yeah, great fake out because you're like, oh god, this guy, here we go, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not this.
And
Psycho
Futsuki
who
definitely
gets
gets
into-
some like weird vibes from Gendo from the very beginning. He's like, yo, this dude he's trouble. Like,
Yeah, he's
I
a
really need
ruffian.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, professor, my boyfriend called and says he needs to be bailed out of jail, and Fuyutsuki's like, oh, this is fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. This is like, what?
And
I'm sorry, what?
Then
And
they fast forward 14. I'm sorry, not 14 years. They fast forward 4 years. Yui has a baby. Gendo invites Professor Futsuki onto a trip. Then the second
Well, I think you missed. Yes, that's really important. But I think you also missed like when they start off. You know, they show the second impact, and then the heat image, and then they show
yeah.
the open with the images of like the basically like boat cities that have sprung up in the old area because of the rising water level, and like all these little small
and they're
ships.
like. And, like, again, sick title cards, 100% my shit. They're like, you cannot, like,
2001.
You cannot describe the year after the second impact. Like, it is too horrible to even, like, comprehend.
Yeah, and so you have Fusuki just saying, like, yo, I'm not a doctor, but I'm the closest thing they got, and I'm like, I'm just trying to help figure something out because it's nuts out here.
Can you imagine if like the all Antarctic ice melted because of a massive explosion? That would rock the climate of the Earth. They make mention in the episode. There's no more fall. There's no more winter. It's just summer.
Just summer all year long.
Which kind of like again, weird thing, but like. It's just like, boy, they really lay on those cicadas pretty hard in a lot of these episodes. It's like, by the way, it's summer. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But then it's like, oh.
It's always summer.
That's like
summer.
That's the only season now.
Oh, no. Earth has become a hellscape.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that cicadas really sets in when you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Half the people aren't here, so it's really quiet. And it's also always summer, so they're just always here.
I'm just like, oh.
They make mention that very briefly in this episode that after a certain point, no more children are being born, and they're trying to wonder why. And that comes up later, but that's such a creepy notion that a couple years after this major catastrophe, that there just are no more children being born in the world. And then no one figures out why.
Yeah, but so then we get Futsuki getting a note that they want to go on an expedition to the Antarctic, and he gets to be reunited with Gendo, who once again the creep factor is turned up to 11 here.
Some very key bad vibes Gendo moments.
Is this where he starts to question? He kind of asks about Gendo being in the Antarctic, but talking about how he just so barely managed to get out on time because of some reason, so he had to leave.
Gendo said that he had a different appointment, so he wasn't able to make the beginning of the expedition.
Yes, yeah. So but just missed it by that much.
He got the Outlook invite for second impact. It was just like
he hit tentative.
Tentative. It was a real Facebook maybe, if you know what I mean.
Brief aside, tentative is like my worst enemy when it comes to Outlook meetings. Like when an employee hits tentative, I want to walk to their desk and say, "Make a decision."
Yes or no.
Yes or no. You can see a young Shinji. That's cute.
Yeah, a little baby Shinji.
You get to see a Ritsuko's mom and a young Ritsuko. That's cute.
Oh, that's right. We have to talk about this in this episode. But yeah, a couple other things. So Yui, I think it's so you also get some very good bad vibes Gendo from this, because she says that she like works with Seele before the second impact, which makes you just think like, man, I have a really bad feeling that like Gendo figured this out and it's like, hey, we should date because I like you. Also, your connections. Like, just real bad vibes about He's like, oh.
Don't get attached to Yui, because she dies this episode.
Yeah.
They just straight up say it. She hits 400% sync ratio with something, they say in this episode, and she no longer exists. And Gendo disappears from there for like, I think they say 3 months.
Nerve.
But yeah, so
Nerve.
we talk, we talk about the, we talk about some of the post Second Impact governmental stuff. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but we get a shot of the UN Artificial Evolution Laboratories chief of research. So obviously,
Bad vibes.
obviously,
Massive bad vibes.
well, we're led to believe that at least post Second Impact, some interesting research has really been kicking up afterwards. Maybe before, but definitely after. Definitely after.
You get to later on see that Gendo, out of nowhere, after he's been, working and making out with Risuko's mom, we'll get to that later. You get to see that Gendo's like, oh, by the way, how's everyone doing? Hey, I have a child now. Oh. Wait, hold on, back up. Where'd you get that child? Who gave you that child? Oh, this is Rei Ayanami. I'm taking care of her for a friend. Permanently. And Ritsuka says, that looks a lot like Yui. Don't ask any more questions. Hard cut. The scene literally hard cuts when she says that.
Yeah, that man, this episode is peak peak bad vibes Gendo, just so many ways. Because first of all, Fuyutsuki's like, hey, I'm gonna go public about all this bad Ava shit you're doing down here. Also with the Second Impact and the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? The what now?
The show just pops off.
Yeah, one thing we forgot to mention too is when Gendo is talking to Fuyutsuki and taking him down into the what will eventually become Nerve HQ. He talks about this massive geofront and underground facility.
Yeah.
And he said, this isn't the only one. This was here before we got here. The other one was in the Antarctic.
And he says, how did you build it? He's like, we didn't make it.
It was here.
Yeah, it would. That, I forgot about that. When I was rewatching it, I was like, oh man, I must have blocked that because my mind can't comprehend it. And I still can't.
It's like, what? No, someone gave Gendo a sick Minecraft world seed, and he just used it. And it was in these big domes.
In the
So
early
sick.
episodes, when you're talking about the geofront, you're going down there, you're like, wow, what a feat of post-war engineering of mankind trying to really protect itself and do something
Wow,
unique
the Green
to
New Deal.
save the planet. And it's like,
Big
oh
domes.
no, this was here way before we got here, and we might have fucked with one.
Yeah.
It's hot.
So, let's get to the end of this episode.
So yeah, and then also Gendo at one point shows up, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a kid that I very conspicuously named the name I would name a girl if she was my daughter.
Yeah,
Someone gave her to me. A friend gave her to me to child.
Yeah, Ray forgot to mention that part.
I did. My apologies.
She has the name that I said we would name if we had a girl.
Yep, that actually is really important. Let's end this episode. Ritsuko's mom, Dr. Akagi, she ends up trying to strangle Rei because she finds out Gendo never loved Dr. Akagi, and someone, who could it be, shoots Dr. Akagi. And then you realize, oh, Dr. Akagi's brain is in the supercomputer Casper, not by her choice.
Nope. She was working on the Magi, and then she got murdered and had her brain forcibly placed into the Magi.
Mm-hmm. Are we done with death? Because Kaji gets killed this episode as well.
Bye. It's but yeah. So first of all, it's super weird that this this Ritsuko and her mom have a pretty fun relationship. They write letters back and forth, But then all of a sudden, like, she's like just strangling like a toddler out of nowhere, and I'm like,
she
what? Okay, like
she does make a mention to Ray.
This is weird.
She says to Ray, "You think you're special? You're not the only one. You could be replaced." Because she like dug around and I guess found out something about Ray. Anyways, back to what I was saying.
Just weird. I don't know if I don't think the show super sticks to landing some of that stuff.
Well,
like, okay.
I think that moment pays off later in episode 24, it kind of explaining that, and I can, we can kind of touch on that when we get there. But
oh, don't worry, we're on our way. Look, real quick, Kazi gets shot because nerve special nerve special forces find out what he's been snooping around and doing, and that pill that he gave Misato was like his last secret.
Yeah, parting shot on Kaji here, like
parting.
Oh yeah, harsh words. My bad. I liked what they did with him in kind of his later episodes, but I think just like his intro, like just the first couple episodes that they did with him, like just really killed my enthusiasm or like enjoyment of him as a character.
You never loved Kaji. You never cared.
No,
for him.
he sucked in the beginning because he was like, "Hey, you guys, does Misato still do that cool thing where she's like, is she still like a hot babe or
is Misato still banging in bed? Sir, I'm 14. Uh-huh.
He's like, yeah, is she? It's just like the stuff like that that's just like,
it's the beard.
This guy sucks.
Yeah, you just don't like his beard.
Oh my god.
His beard game isn't strong enough for you.
Oh my god. Those fucking god. I don't know what it is. There's another show Sarah and I watch called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It's really great. And there's a character who for a while had very similar facial hair to Kaji, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh, it's so bad. And then he shaved it, and I like, oh, he's getting a lot nicer.
Very few people can pull off unkempt beard.
It's not a beard. He has like two hairs.
Unkempt. My fault. Unkempt stubble.
Yeah, it's just. But yeah, so it's like I'm supposed to be sad that Kaji is dead, but like. I just didn't. They didn't really. I don't know. They just. It's like they found out too late. They're like, oh wait, no, he's supposed to be sympathetic. Oh no,
oh, no. Bang!
And, like tried to pivot him in like one episode, and like I just don't care. Like this guy sucks. Like
moving on to the next episode.
Moving on.
Episode what is this? Episode 22. Yep. This is for you Asuka fans.
Is this the Asuka episode?
There's a lot of Asuka in this episode. It does another cold open where Asuka basically tries to make out with Kashi on the ship, like on her way to Tokyo 3. And Kaji ain't having none of it because she's 14. Which, by the way, think of what you will of Kaji. He's not a creep. He like clearly expresses zero interest. And then Asuka says, I'm a woman, I'm grown up. And you find out throughout the entirety of this episode, Asuka has had a really awful childhood. And it starts slowly revealing that as we go along. She keeps having flashback memories of her mother disappearing and this doll that keeps haunting her mind. And she's having some very serious confidence attacks in the fact that she couldn't stop... which angel was that in episode 19? Help me out here. Was that the 14th? 13th? I want to say it was the 14th.
I think so, yeah.
Because she just got owned. She was decapitated and disarmed within seconds of the angel attack, and Shinji was the one to save the day.
She's taken that really hard.
Yeah.
Like, you get a lot more Asuka. Like, I think I found Asuka very brash and annoying previously, but like, I think this did a really great job to show that, like, because she talks about how much, like, she's like, I don't need external validation. I do this for myself. But it's like so clear that she desperately does need that, and it's really hard. And it's just some of that stuff is like really tough because, and I think works pretty well. It's just
It does.
and just because kind of how this episode ends too, with like, because like you normally in like a monster of the week type episode, it's like the character's going through a hard time, kind of pulls it together and wins the day. But like the end of this episode, Asuka's still not doing great. Like she pretty much completely fails the mission as hard as possible.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. There's a lot of build up to that. There's like they get her back into Nerve, and she has the lowest sync ratio. They're afraid she's not even going to be able to sync with an Ava anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like she was syncing at like 20% or something, which is bad.
When you need to achieve 100% sync ratio to sync with this human, let's just call them humans. I'm kidding. They're still giant robots with fingernails. And then Ray gives her a pep talk in the elevator saying, basically pull it together. Just whatever you're struggling with, let it go. Asuka doesn't take it well. She's still pissed at Shinji. And now we get to an angel attack. And man, I know it's been a couple episodes since we've had ourselves a proper angel attack. But
this was kind of scary.
Oh boy, this one does something unique. So Asuka is trying to aim the now reformed and now more carryable positron rifle. She's doing that whole thing where she's zeroing on the target. It looks like just a light in the sky. It's called the Angel Light. And it just shines after she misses the shot. It just shines a ray at her, and
it's not just like a laser. It's like heavenly light, like the it's like the Hallelujah.
It is the Hallelujah chorus, and woo, oh boy. The translation in this is actually, me and Josh were talking about earlier how the Netflix translation gets some things wrong. If you turned on subtitles, you'll see here, Asuka actually says the word "stop raping my mind," and that instantly demonetized this video. But there's a point of why she said "stop raping my mind," is because she keeps using the words, "it's defiling me, it's making me unclean, stop doing this to me." Like she is... in her case, she's being violated.
It's disturbing. Like it's just like a giant ray of sunlight being blasted at this Ava, but it's like very clearly like trying to like get into her mind and find the things that will weaken her. It's like the angels, I don't know how much of this is a factor, but like the angels like in the first episode it's like a fight robot.
Mm-hmm.
But the angel in this episode, like, I don't know if they're getting smarter or if that's really something that plays into the show at all, really. In, like, the final episodes and stuff. But, like, now that it's, like, the angels understand that, like, there's, like, a mental aspect to be attacked here. And yes, I'm correct about this because it's something that is very explicit in episode 24, I would say.
What is it? Seele. You remember when Seele was like drilling Gendo on like the nanovirus attack? Like, was that an angel? Yeah. It's because the Dead Sea Scrolls have set out how many angel attacks there might possibly be. And they know the worst thing possible happens after, I think it's like the 14th. The one where Shinji ate the angel. They know whatever number of the angel that is. They're like, okay, that is like one of the worst angels, and like the world changes once this happens. We must prepare for this. And because Gendo lied to Seele, they weren't properly prepared for that angel to come by. So then they acknowledge, okay, our count was off, clearly. And they weren't properly prepared for this Angel of Light, which is making Asuka relive her dead mother killing herself and trying to take her with her, which is awful. And her mother being in a psych ward before she killed herself, and Asuka having these introspective revelations of like what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a human, what it means to be alive. Some deep stuff.
And again, I think a lot of this worked for me because it was like it's, you know, it kind of has a bummer ending, but it is like kind of, you know, part of it is kind of hard, like that someone who is like very clearly and very loudly like I don't need any validation from anyone, but it's like so clear that that's something that she wants so badly and like needs. And like she even takes even when she takes a phone call from, I can't remember, but she like, I think she's yelling at Shinji in this episode for some reason, and just like the way.
Oh, she renamed Shinji. She doesn't even call him Shinji anymore. She refers to him as Idiot Shinji. That's the only way she'll address him anymore. And she's yelling over the phone. Well, she's actually having a conversation with her stepmother in German. And then she like has a sympathetic conversation earlier in the episode with Shinji, just saying, she's my stepmother, she's not my real mother, it's just very peaceable. And then she like breaks it like, wait, why am I telling you all of this? You're just an idiot. And then like she has like a character moment and then walks away from it. She goes back into this woman needs therapy mode.
Very much so.
Yeah. And yeah, so all that stuff is happening, and then they order Ray in Ava Unit 2.
Zero.
Shit. Zero.
Oh no, I'm getting owned!
Owned. You didn't even watch the show, Mike. Oh my god. To get the Spear of Longinus.
Yeah.
Get the Spear of Longina.
From
The scene is sick, by the way.
From the angel?
They say it's Adam.
That they got the Adam that is living in the basement.
Which produces the LCL fluid.
Which produces the LCL.
We get a really cool shot of Unit 0 on the like hand elevator descending thing going down into the central dogma.
That is so dope looking. And when creepy thing, when she pulls out the Sphere of Longinus, whatever, Adam grows his legs back.
Bad vibe. I was like,
instantly.
No, put that back in. We'll do something else. It'll be fine. Put it back in. Put it back in. Oh my god, put it back in. Put it back in.
Butsuki is saying like, sir, there has to be something else we can do besides what you're wanting to happen. This is the worst idea. Gendo's like, nah, B, we got this. Ray, throw the spear at the Angel of Light.
But yeah, then Unit 0,
she
just yeets the spear right into space and just super fucks the angel up. Just like, oh my god.
Yep.
It was real dope. But then they're like, yay, we did it.
We did it. And then someone brings up,
oh no, it's stuck in space.
How do we get it back? Well, sir, right now it's in geosynchronous orbit with the moon, so we don't.
Like, you have a ship to fly an Ava from an Ava. That thing's not light. It's very heavy and big.
Can Avas
To
breathe in
fly
space?
one of those from America to Japan. But you're telling me you can't get the fucking most literally the most important, the most powerful weapon to defend humanity, as just evidenced by how much it immediately fucked up that angel.
It is clearly the anti-angel
You have
device.
no way to get that back from space? You're just gonna leave it there?
I do want to agree a little bit with Mike that, hey, our trump card is floating around the moon. Can we get it? And one of the scientists says, nope, it's too heavy. Excuse you? What is cost in this world? What is money?
At least it stopped at the moon.
It's true. That's true.
And like in classic Bad Vibes Gendo, it's like, I'm meant for this.
He did. He does say that.
Perfectly part
He
of the plan.
absolutely
But
says
it's like,
that.
It's like when if I'm like playing somebody in Smash Bros. And I immediately lose 2 lives and they still have all their lives, I'm like, this is part of the plan. I meant this. This is part of the plan. And it's like, wait, if you have 30 fucking thousand goddamn plans, of course it's when one of them. Like, God, just how do you?
That's how.
Put some little rocket boosters just to scoot it back towards Earth, so it comes down eventually. You saw how the thing tore through the atmosphere on the way up. It's gonna be fine on the way down. Just go get it. Oh my god.
So,
But what if it hitting the ground caused the third impact?
Josh is right. They really don't know what tech they're messing with, because whatever the spirit of Longinus is, it's enough to keep Adam not only sustained, but from instantly regenerating its limbs, which it can just do. Not just like Wolverine regeneration. Nah, B! Its whole torso in a second.
Yeah, like, dude, if I unplug my phone charger from the wall, and the outlet immediately grows legs, I am plugging that shit back immediately. It's like, oh hell, we can't have that. Nope.
Let's go on and get to what I call literally the creepiest episode in the series. Like, it still makes my skin crawl. And I watched it twice while I was rewatching it. This is episode 22.
There's a reason it makes your skin crawl.
Stop! I can't handle that right now. I cannot. So
that was not good. I didn't like that.
No. So Asuka's taking part 2 of losing to Angel bad. She's just hanging out at her friend Hikari's house playing some Sega Genesis. Shout out to playing Sega Genesis in 1995. I see you, Asuka. I see you. And
to be fair, I think it's a Seika, but whatever.
It's a Seika. Moving on.
Asuka's confidence is trying to be like wise from your grave.
We start this episode with a lot of downtrodden women. We get Misato quite upset about Kaji's passing, and
it's bad, man. This was really hard to watch. She's like so clearly not like her like yay malt beer woo self. It's like, I'm not going to answer the phone for 3 days, and I'm just...
There's legitimate pain happening here.
It's very bad. It's not good.
What I love about this series is this series never treats like the thoughts of like mortality and depression lightly, like most giant robot animes do. This is just like, no, she lost like her lover, her best friend. She's gonna be taking it hard for like months. And there are some days where she's just locked in her room, drinking beer, eating ramen, re-listening to a phone recording. And you're like, damn, man, that got real.
Yeah, that's
real.
It's bad.
We're not too long before we have an angel attack. There's a nice, beautiful little shot of the sphere of Longinus just orbiting around the moon. And we have,
You're telling me you could...
once again, Mike Freak...
Put a big rope on it. I don't know. Like,
we make use of rope technology.
Pull that shit back. Like, how do you not have any sort of mechanism? How do you not have any sort of mechanism to get that back? Like,
so this angel.
But if it comes in too fast, it obviously is the third impact.
Possibly. Obviously, they were actually. We didn't cover this in the last episode. Misato brought up like, wait, if Rei touches the Spear of Longinus while it's attached to Adam, won't that cause third impact? And Gendo doesn't say anything! And then Rei obviously pulls out the spear, and Misato says, oh, wait a minute, you lied to us! And she like says it in her mind, but she's like, oh, motherfucker! Like she has that like internal thing. We forgot to bring that up, but that is important.
Wait, what? Oh, no.
Yeah, because...
Ray, you should have put that shit back in. Oh, no.
So going on to episode 23, it's the Ring of Light Angel. They deploy Asuka for what reason I don't know.
I think just what was I gonna say? Rainbow Council is very mad at Gendo for using.
Oh
his
yeah,
spear.
that's important. You're right.
They're like, why would you do that? And why would we have no means to recover it? Like Mike said, and Gendo's like,
sorry, V.
it seems like I have fucked up, but I did not, I promise. And I'm like, I also do that at work, Gendo, and I'm also lying, so it's fine.
To be fair, I'm with Sele on this one. Like, you threw what? Where?
Also, I really wish Discord video had a feature where I could, like, it would still transmit video, but it would just portray me as a giant gray obelisk. Because it's, like, audio only, but it's, like, also here's a giant picture of a giant gray obelisk. And I'm like,
Mike sound only.
wait, that's illegal.
So, then the angel starts attacking because Gendo's like, we have more important matters to attend to, like this angel attack that we can't defeat with the Sphere of Longinus, which
because it's gone somewhere.
Because it's orbiting the moon right now. Which, by the way, even as a child, that cracked me up. Yeah, it's just they keep showing it too. Like each episode, they're like, "Yeah, that's still there."
Spear cam.
So when they deploy Asuka, she has 0% sync ratio with her Ava. It won't move. She can't do anything. She's too depressed. They pull her out like instantly, and they're like, "All right, that didn't work. Go ahead and Misato says remove her as the second child. She can't sync with an Ava.
Second children.
You're right. This Netflix translation, I swear, the second children.
The fourth children. It's like, no.
That was so easy not to get wrong. It kind of angers me. Anyways, and they deploy Rey, and the Angel of Light does something very, what do you guys say? Let's say creepy? Invasive, perhaps?
Non-consensual.
Very non-consensual.
Very bad.
Yeah. I don't want to use the R word too many times in this episode, but what else do you call that?
It enters
so it's like,
the
it's
hand,
making
it
my
enters
skin
the
all
mind.
goopy, and there's a face on my hand. Oh no.
Oh no, that happens to Shinji later.
Everything's
Yeah,
fine.
like, once again, we seem to have the angels trying to break into the psyche of the humans via indirect or now direct contact.
Yeah. Now they're just straight up
Interfacing
touching
with Rey.
humans, yeah. And it's asking Rey, like, hey, do you want to join us? Like, what does that mean? No, you want to become one of us. No, seriously, it's cool.
Just do it.
Just
do
do
like,
it. It's all right.
Just one hit, man. One hit won't hurt you.
Like, the angel is inside her mind asking her, what does it mean to share a heart? You probably don't know, but I'll share my heart with you. I'm like, all right, that's really effed up to say to a human being in the compromised situation. That's
my mind.
This angel knows what it's doing. And Misato says, all right, plan B isn't working, deploy Shinji. And Gendo says yes, because they're afraid to deploy Ava Unit 1 because it's a god now. It can now run on unlimited energy with its S2 core, which means it has unlimited AT field, which means it's capable, if Shinji really wants to, of destroying the world, and nothing can stop it. Because let's recall all the way back to, I think, episode 15, how many N2 mines could they throw into that angel? And Shinji might die, but the Ava's fine! It was 992. That's all the N2 mines in the world. Imagine that. We could throw every nuke in the world at this thing. The pilot inside's dead. But the unit is fine. What did you guys build?
That's an absolute unit.
That is an absolute unit. And now it has unlimited energy. I can't stress that enough.
But yeah, so Shinji deploys and basically immediately gets bodied as well. Like he does a couple juke moves, and then the angel is now also interfacing with him.
All the pawns.
There are a lot of great moments in this series where it's like Ava deployed, immediately getting fucked up. And this is a good one.
Yeah, it's not like other giant robot.
Other
animes.
one was like Death Screaming Cube, and where it's like, yay, deployed, weep.
At least this time Shinji has been doing this long enough. He at least got one juke move in.
He did, and he stabbed it with his knife. But then the end of the angel turned into Ray, and it started gooping all over his hands and said, "Why are you hurting us? We just want to love you." Like, what is this show? I forgot about this.
So Ray sees all of this and says, "You know what? You know what I got to do? Let me pull this red handle." Self-destruct in the Ava.
Creepiest self-destruct sequence in an anime I've ever seen ever.
It's like, I'm gonna eat that angel. I'm gonna suck that angel. Give me that angel. So
Did you guys see that?
Unit 0 just kind of. Wait, did we talk about the Ava graveyard? In that one other
Was
episode?
that in episode 22?
Because that was fucked up.
Yeah, all the gigantic skeletons.
In the flashback, that was in the.
That might have been the birth. That
Fuyutsuki.
might have been in the birth of Nerve.
No. That's coming up in episode 24, I do believe. No, the Ava graveyard comes up here. That comes up later on in this episode. Okay, so we're getting to that. Before Ray gets blown up because she told her Ava to go into self-destruct mode, which by the way destroys Tokyo 3 because she blew up. You know what?
That's how much force it takes to self-destruct an Ava.
It's Tokyo 3 or the world, so I get it. Ray's unit artistically turns into Ray, for just it's 5 frames. That's all it is, and you see Unit 0 turn into Ray, and then it forms a halo and it blows up.
Yep, and then boom.
Shinji's fine because he's in Ava Unit 1, and we already covered how indestructible that thing is.
Lost its lower half, but still alive.
Still good. Still good. It's a little damage. It's still good. It's still good. Ray is gone. Let's hover on that for a second. For all intents and purposes, Ray is gone. Everyone is mourning her. Gendo and Fuyutsuki go back to that chamber where Ray was in that tank, naked, and said, "Okay, that's fine." Very next scene, Ray is sitting there with bandages on, and Shinji's like, "Oh, I'm glad you're okay." And even Ray says, "What are you talking about?" Oh, you sacrificed yourself to save me and save the world. Is that what I did, huh? I must be the third one. Hard cut!
Yeah.
This show loves the hard cut!
No, I'm the third.
Well, what that means, but wait, then wait, but you're
Mike, I said hard cut.
Oh.
This show, the director cannot get enough of that hard cut after a weird question. What's his name? They're back in Gendo's office, and Futsuki says, "Hey, the leader Sele is not going to be happy when they learn, Ray is still alive. They're going to have questions." And Gendo's like, "Don't worry. I got
I got this. Why don't you go instead? I was like, wait, that's not a good plan. Okay.
All right. Let's get to the
Classic bad vibes.
classic
Again.
Gendo.
So we get somebody getting interrogated in the nude.
Yeah, Gendo sends Ritsuko to
No
do this in
peeking.
the nude.
Yep.
Kind of effed
And
up
then-
for a variety of reasons.
And then Misato is finally looking at the chip that Kaji gave her, trying to find some answers.
Apparently, she found enough answers to where she holds Ritsuko at gunpoint at Terminal Dogma and says, "All right, open the door. And by the way,
Give me that lore dump.
I'm taking Shinji with me."
But okay, where did Shinji come from?
He was just in the corner.
Did you congeal out of goo again?
That's Shinji's new power.
Risuku's like fine, but he's coming too, and it's like, he's there. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here, kid?
How long you been there? Can anyone just sneak into Terminal Dogma? There's a serious guard problem at Terminal Dogma, in that there is none.
Do we not even have keycard access?
It's not even like high-level Kaji got in there whenever he wanted. Seriously, that's a...
Well, you see, like, it's like somebody swiped in for Shinji, and like,
that's another thing. Yeah, there's single swipe.
Shinji forgot his badge, so someone just swiped him in.
No tailgating.
No tailgating. Y'all know. So.
But yeah, so we get the shot of the artificial evolution laboratory.
Yep.
And a lab that looks strangely like Rei's apartment, because it is a recreation of Rei's apartment.
Yep.
Because they say they need a familiar environment to thrive. Who's they, you might ask?
Well, first they show us the Ava graveyard, which is just gigantic skeletons in a cross shape.
It's like, and they're like, "Oh, this is the graveyard." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" It's like, "Oh, we tried to prototype a god." I'm like, "You did the what now?"
We failed a lot.
Did you think about the repercussions of that? What? Oh.
What I love about this, and it's so subtle, is that Misato and Ritsuko are best friends, but this entire, 5 minutes, Misato has her gun trained on Ritsuko, finger on trigger the entire time. She's gonna end her if she doesn't, get the answers that she wants.
I really I think their relationship is, very interesting, and I think it's, one of my favorite, relationships in the show, is because it's, they're two very different people that, work together, but they're, they have similar goals, but
But they have a very high... We have a very different information level between the two.
Yeah, and it's... I love that dynamic, because it's when things are going it just, the tension is very good, but there's just so much complexity and depth there that really I think is very good.
Well, and so when we get to the scene where we are seeing Ritsuko basically spill all the secrets to Misato and Shinji, and she shows the graveyard and the clones and whatnot. You get to the point too where she starts to break down, and Misato kind of talks about and going back to Ritsuko's mom, what happened is those who chase the Avas, who obsess about the Avas, they at some point they hit their limit. They start to break down, and we see Ritsuko just starting to lose her mind because she has lost herself in this project, and in Gendo, and in Nerve, and done unspeakable things in the pursuit of the Ava.
They you just offhandedly mentioned the vat of Rei clones that are in Terminal Dogma, and they said, by the way, this is what powers the dummy plug. It's a Rei clone. Oh yeah, we're just aside. And then Ritsuko says, by the way, I am so...
Oh, there's a kill button, and then she pushes it, and then they all
disintegrate.
It's not just oh, they're all dead now. It's just oh, we made it so that their bodies will blow up, and you just have to sit there and watch this. And I'm just
dark.
Oh.
Talk about uncomfortable imagery.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's that
more like bad vibes Ritsuko, am I right?
Ritsuko has been giving us bad vibes since episode 5, I want to say. She did sabotage Jet alone because she said the Avas are the only way. Alright, I'm open to other ideas as well. I like nuclear power. A nuclear powered Ava doesn't sound bad.
I mean, I like an assist every now and then, but I guess not. I guess Gendo has other plans for you.
She mentions a whole paragraph on how the Avas are created. All the Avas are clones of Adam, and Adam is a human being. And they just drop that in a sentence. Just boop. And Misato says, "So Ava's a human?" And Risuka says, "Yeah, Ava's are humans."
Yeah.
No, they're dogs. What do you
NBD.
think, Misato? Jesus.
They're not angels. They're humans.
Yep, they're cybernetically controlled humans, and that armor, that's not armor. Those are all control restraints.
Yep.
The armor doesn't matter. Not really, because they're AT field, which all humans have. I repeat again, all humans have an AT field. Just angels and Avas know how to manifest theirs. And she just drops in the sentence what I mentioned, and what I think it was Futsuko mentioned like 2 episodes ago. There's no more children being born in the world because something called the Chamber of Goth was empty. And whenever they awakened Adam, that closed the door to the Chamber of Goth, and no more souls are allowed in the world. And in this entire, like, 2 minutes, you're like, stop! You need to stop right now! Pause!
Wait.
You can't be doing this!
Every human has an absolute terror.
Yes.
Yep.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Yep.
Can I, like, invert my AT field to turn myself into an orb with a weird shadow?
Angels can do that.
Can I? But,
You can
I
try.
do it?
And she says there's not that much difference between an angel and an Ava. Matt, stop trying to be an orb.
Try.
He tried. It didn't work out.
Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Keep trying.
Well, if you want to see if Mike is successful at turning his AT field.
Oh yeah, the episode just
Inverting
ends
it.
after then. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, no, I'm a little pissed about that. After that axe kick of information, they're like, and what?
And just like that episode ended, so's this one. So,
Bam!
Since we're getting kind of long, what we're going to do is we're going to do 24, 25, 26 in another episode because shit gets crazier from here. I know it's hard to believe, but
Yes.
so to keep up with Mike turning his AT field, inverting and turning into a shadow monster, and the next episode, make sure you're subscribed to here at YouTube at Unscript Podcast. Get us on Facebook
Call
at
me the Big
Unscripted
Floaty.
Gaming. Get us at Twitter at Unscript_Gaming. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Google Play, Apple Music, you can get us in your ears. Thank you for listening. Postscripted. My name is Josh.
Leave us a 5-star review. I'm
My
Mike.
name is Ray.
Peace.
Stop.